Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Pregame Show podcast, our CHGO Crosstown Classic coverage, presented by our friends at Hooters. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, getting you ready for round two of the Crosstown Classic. Cubs ready to wrap it up. The big Crosstown Cup, Cody. We've waited years for this, a chance to clinch, but more importantly, we've waited for this.
Bum, bum, bum.
This. That's right. There it is. Merch drop, sick drip to start your Tuesday, baby.
Hell yeah, man.
Huh?
Let's go.
The belly bomb.
Yeah.
Belly bombs.
We got Kevin running the ones and twos tonight, Kevin Wells, and he's showing off the new shirt that just dropped at ALLCITY.com just in time for the Crosstown Classic. Round two, belly bombs forecasted at Wrigley Field tonight. Get your shirt now, ALLCHGO.com. Or if you sign up to be a diehard, you can pick a free shirt of your choice from the locker, and that could be it. Yeah. You also get 20% off all merch, so you could just start buying shirts left and right because they're practically free at that point. I said practically, by the way.
Yes.
Not totally free. That's a sick shirt. I like it.
That is a sick shirt. And, long time coming, too, honestly.
Niren says add to cart. Yes, sir.
Add to cart. That link should be in the description if you guys just want that shortcut. But, yeah.
Gary
Get it while it's hot. We're dropping merch all the time now, Stuck.
Yeah.
Last week, it's the Summer of Mike Tauchman.
Oh, if you haven't seen that, there's two of those.
Yeah. And then there's the Morel one that we dropped a while back, too.
Shane and Gary think Belly looks tan. It's a cub.
Bear.
It's a bear.
Cub. Yeah.
Gary in the chat, are we sure that's not a candy bomb? Jeez.
I mean, guys, don't you see the
Just
bear
look
nose?
Up close on it, man.
Come on.
It's a bear.
I guess if you're watching on your phone, if
Yeah,
you're watching
true.
on something small like your phone,
That's
you can't
true.
really see what it's like.
It's a bear. There you go.
That's awesome. I'm getting one of those.
Yeah, man.
And we'll talk about it more in a second, but don't forget the takeovers tomorrow. So if you think the vibes are going to be high tonight, tomorrow when CHGO rolls in for the Crosstown Series takeover at Wrigley Field, just a couple tickets left, like just a few. So, again, go to allchgo.com, and you can join us. We're going to be sitting in section 425, I think.
I had a friend who just sent me a screenshot of her getting it. So she'll be there tomorrow.
Tickets are purchased. So, anyways, new sick drip. We got a takeover. We've got Cubs socks, and the Cubs have 12 straight games against teams that are a combined 90-some games under 500. What could get better in your world? 12 straight wins.
12 straight wins.
12-game winning streak.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. The Cubs are entering exactly what the doctor may have ordered for this stretch run, right? They could.
That's home cooking.
They could be, ideally they're 10 over 500 at the very least after this 12-game stretch. I think that's possible with their 4 over right now, with the teams that they have to play. To me, they should be. They should be 10 over 500 by the time these 12 games with these bad teams are done. If they're not, then I'll probably be a little disappointed for sure.
Well, this whole homestand is against teams with horrible records, with the Sox and the Royals coming up. So, that is true home cooking. That, and of course, a Vienna beef hot dog with some grilled onions on top of it. But that's another story. So we got the belly bombs. Those are all the good vibes we're putting out there. You can get the new merch. You can get whether it's the Tauchman shirt or the belly bomb shirts or the Summer of Mike Tauchman. All those things and the takeover. But the negative news: Marcus Stroman was supposed to start tomorrow night and return, come off the IL with a hip injury. He had that cortisone shot in the hip, and now David Ross and the Cubs come out today and say Stroman's not starting. We're sending him to get testing. He's got right rib discomfort that started acting up right after his bullpen session in Toronto. He had it right after he ate. And he told Taylor McGregor on Marquee that he thought it was just like a cramp at first from like going out there eating and then trying to do work too fast. He had his breakfast and then he went out and threw. That didn't turn out to be the case. It started getting worse and worse throughout the day, and now they're sending him for testing at some point today or tonight to get it looked at. You would assume imaging. It doesn't sound great. They've said Assad is definitely starting tomorrow.
Yeah. I guess it's every time they go to do this imaging or whatever beforehand, I always choose to just wait and see.
Yeah. And what are they talking about? Are we talking about an oblique?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh boy, I mean,
all I'm saying is until we really know like what that stuff is, I'm choosing to believe that the ass man's getting he's getting this start, and then they have the off day, and then Stroman will pitch next week. That's how I'm choosing to look at it right now, just because like
your vibes are up.
Vibes are up, but also like we've seen this before in terms of other dudes. Remember when everyone was freaking out about Steele's forearm?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
that was me you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean I was kind of freaking out too, but I'm choosing to wait this out. The only pro from this news for me is the fact that it is basically confirmed that Stroman was hurt. I don't think this was a you or a Ryan thing, but I was like, I think the Cubs were just giving this guy time off. That's how I genuinely felt. He was so bad that I was like, they're fan-am-I-Ling him right now, all right?
Yeah,
So to see that they're now pushing him back because of an injury-related thing, it's like, okay, he actually was hurt. So to me, that's telling of how those starts went, that he wasn't 100% or whatever. But also, as much as, they need him back, right? They need to get him back. But,
I've said I think he's the key to making the playoffs.
But I don't think that this is going to push it back another 2 or 3 weeks. I think this is we'll probably see him next week situation. That's how I feel right now, given the information that we know.
Maybe it's the type of opponent they're playing. Like, hey, we're going to need you. Maybe we don't need you tomorrow. Potentially. Maybe it's something like that.
The reason I don't believe either one of those is true is that they're going to get imaging done. They're going to get testing done. They're not just saying, hey, he's going to work with the trainer and get things checked out. They're sending him to get tests. So it's not great news. Let's certainly and coming off a hip injury, you also hope that he had the hip injury and then he goes out to throw the bullpen. You hope that one didn't lead to the other, and it's sort of that snowball effect that injuries can have throughout a season. Anyway, we'll hold off judgment on it. They're going to do the testing. I'm sure we're going to know more tomorrow. Jed Hoyer is supposed to speak before the game tomorrow at beautiful, historic Wrigley Field. But not great news. Definitely not great news going into this game. Not because Assad's pitching. I'm excited that Assad's pitching. But I still believe that if you had to pick one player and say, okay, this guy is the X factor, the Cubs making a big postseason run, I'd say it's Stroman. Obviously, it's Bellinger if you say like a position player, but the trickle-down effect of having that number one, number two starter, both if you have Steele and Stroman both throwing the way they can and have at some point this season, then everything else falls in line behind it. Now, you can catch up. You can cover that up for a while, but I don't think you can cover it up for the rest of the season if that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about how Steele probably needs like an extra day of rest. Well, he's going to get that this week because I'm pretty sure he would be scheduled to start on Friday.
Yeah.
So he'll get 6 days rest this week, which will be good. That's the only thing that bothers me about the Stroman thing is like they can't afford to skip a start with him right now because of the rotation. But it was like a week ago on Monday after Smiley was so bad, I feel like the rotation has picked it back up since that bad start. Outside of Tyone on Sunday, you know what I mean? Hendricks, who pitches tonight, pitched well against the Mets. Steele was solid against the Blue Jays, and the Ass Man was great last Friday. So, and Tyone did have the good start against the Mets as well that helped them win the one of the 3 games. So, I'm obviously they need Stroman to get back to have more depth in that rotation, and also just a proven guy. Some of the comments in the chat, I was laughing a little bit earlier, like, I'm not gonna forget some of your comments. I'm just letting y'all know. So I look forward to seeing what Hendricks does tonight in terms of, he pitched well against the White Sox at the Cell, and then the Ass Man tomorrow. So I would be a lot more worried, honestly, if the schedule was tough coming up.
Yeah, the Stroman thing doesn't allow you to take advantage of it as much as you wanted to. But by the way, our friend Gary Ross in the chat, while he's not asking for Slaughter to play tonight,
Becky was asking for
Slaughter. Gary's saying, "Hey, why do the Cubs always wait to run these tests? They should have done it 2 weeks ago." In this particular case, the injury just happened the other day in Toronto during his bullpen session, so it wasn't like he had rib discomfort before he went out to the mound. It happened in Toronto, so this is just, at the most a day or two old.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate setback for sure. Again, I'm waiting to have any real reaction to it until after we see what happens. Again, I up until today, I was like, they just put him on the IL for a rest because he just wasn't pitching well. But again, we'll see. I think the easy schedule allows the Cubs to play this safe with him right now, and that can be a dangerous game. They lost 2 or 3 against the Mets last week, right? We've seen in the past when the Cubs were competitive, we've seen them lose to bad teams late in the season. Right. I understand it's a dangerous game that they could possibly be playing right now, if they're setting him back because of the schedule, all this, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, I think you can get by for a week without him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, if he has to, if it turns into another 2-3 week thing, then yeah, I'll be concerned. And then I might actually start calling for a Jordan Wicks or a Ben Brown.
Right.
Ben Brown's been on the minor league injured list because from what I figured was because of an innings limit situation, not necessarily an injury. Jordan Wicks is, he's been fine in Iowa. I think they both have earned the opportunity to come up and at least play in a piggyback role situation with Drew Smiley or Hayden Wisniewski. Yeah, I right now not too concerned, but if information comes out that he's going to have to miss another week or two tomorrow, then yeah, I'll be the Ass Man starts will become a lot more crucial, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on guys like Hendricks and Tyone.
Gary's confusing me again. First of all, he disagreed with you, which is never smart. But Gary,
you're mentioning him, and he said that he disagreed with you.
Gary said, I disagree with you. He had a cortisone shot in the hip. We're talking about a rib injury. They're saying these aren't connected. Like, it's not the same injury. It's not his hip that's sore. The hip feels fine now after the cortisone shot. Now it's a rib injury that started acting up after he threw in the bullpen. Mm-hmm. So what he's getting checked out is the rib injury is what they're saying. They're saying nothing about the hip injury anymore. I'm not saying one couldn't have impacted the other.
It's a rib.
But where he's feeling the pain is in a different place than where he was feeling pain before. Yeah. And I don't disagree with you that I think sometimes it does seem like the franchise waits a little long to get the test done. Like sometimes they tell us and then they're like, oh, we're getting tests done.
Yeah.
But in this case, it sounds like it just happened on Sunday.
Uh-huh. Novodamus says Gary is never wrong.
Novodamus, Gary is wrong this time.
Take that, as our friend David Kaplan would say.
Take that. All right, let's look at the lineup. What do you think of the lineup today? Everybody's okay, except for I know there's going to be some people unhappy about Happ batting third again. But the summer of Mike Tauchman continues.
The
Palatine Pounder is back in the leadoff spot, center field. And there he is, belly bombs over at first base.
I'm happy to see Candelario above Morel. However, I do think there's reason to want Candelario even a little bit higher, but Swanson and Bellinger have been red hot, so I don't mind Candelario 6. But if it were up to me, they would have Bellinger, Swanson 3-4, with Happ and Candelario back-to-back 5-6. Whether Happ is 5th or 6th and Candelario's 5th, vice versa, whatever. That, if you want me to nitpick, that is how I would want it. The Happ thing hitting 3rd has turned so crazy that people in the Discord are legitimately talking about how bad Ian Happ is as a player, and it's like, bro, y'all give me a headache. You give me a headache so much that all I can do is laugh about it. So it is what it is. We've talked about why they're playing Ian Happ in 3rd in the lineup. I think we all generally would agree that he shouldn't be 3rd in the lineup, but I don't think it's so bad to where you can't play the guy. He's not having a terrible season. He's a good baseball player. Remember last year when all we did when we sat here was talk about the Cubs need good baseball players. Ian Happ's a good baseball player.
He's played some awesome defense, too, over the last couple of weeks. Had a really good defensive series in Toronto.
Everyone has an 0 for 5 every now and then, all right? Like, it's almost like when he goes 0 for one game, people just freaking blow their gasket in their heads, and they're just done. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it.
A couple of great comments from Diehards. Craig Brindle says, I love honey bunches of oats with almonds.
Ooh.
Don't know what that's about, but okay.
I like them. That's one of my favorite cereals, too.
Really?
Right?
Never had it. Michael Collada, the Godfather, says, just had 3 cortisone shots over 2 months in my heel. Didn't do a thing.
Hello, Godfather.
Where's
Barb?
Thank you, Dr. Collada. And Shane Newbank says, Gary is never wrong unless he's arguing with me. Or in this case, me.
Gary is always right except when he's arguing with anyone else. That's a joke.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways. So, the next 12 games are key. We got Hendricks going tonight, and hopefully he can, get the job done against a bad White Sox team.
Collada, the Godfather, he had a good comment that kind of made me think negatively for a second. That's what he does. That's what he does. Yeah. Usually teams can figure out Hendricks the second time they face him in like a recent stretch, and he's not wrong about that. So I do kind of agree with him on that. Big of me to admit, Godfather. Big of me to admit. But you look at the lineup the White Sox put out tonight, and they have multiple players, not just one, not just 2. We're talking like 3-4 guys with OPSs under 700 in their lineup, man. They're not good. So the key for him always is just to keep the ball down and get ground balls. Once he starts giving up hard hit balls, rockets, and then you see a couple homers go over the fence.
And don't pitch to what's his name from the Mets. That's the other one.
Yeah, I'm pitching to Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso.
Well, tonight would be don't pitch to Luis Robert
That's
Jr., right?
There's one guy. Yeah.
Even Eloy Jimenez, too. But, yeah, I mean, this lineup that the White Sox are putting out there.
TA scratched.
Yeah, Anderson would scratch. Like, it shouldn't be.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Cubs.
Well, he'd been playing better in the second half.
A little bit.
All I can say is that it's not like he's going up against the Braves. He's going up against a White Sox team that sold at the deadline. They sold off one of their best players in Jake Berger. Like, I'm asking for 5. I'm asking for 5 innings, Kyle. That's what I'm asking for. 5 innings, 3 earned or less.
Nick Cheap bringing up something funny. He says, wonder if the Sox are regretting not taking Luke's Wisdom trade last year.
For Moncada?
Well, it was Wisdom and Happ.
Oh, yeah.
For Moncada. Yes, I guarantee you they are. Well, should have listened to me, Rick. He never answered the phone. Rick never answered the call.
He just can't stay on the field. Like Moncada can't stay on the field.
He also is rumored to be one of the guys that's
lazy or whatever.
Lazy and not into it.
That what's his name? The guy that went to the Yankees said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also rumored to be one of the guys that's a problem. Hey, I see a lot of great names in the chat. We love seeing you. Thanks for the 23 likes. Let's get it up over 50 for the pregame show. how many of you, outside of Mike Dubbs, who we already know is going to the game tomorrow, how many are coming to the Takeover? Because, like I said earlier in the show, it sounds like we have like just a handful of tickets left. Why wouldn't you want to go see the Cubs beat the Sox tomorrow night at 7:05? Meet up at Almost Home before the game, right?
Right across the street from Obvious Shirts,
85,
diagonally.
$85 at allchgo.com right now gets you a ticket to the game with us, sitting right with us. It gets you a drink at Almost Home. It gets you the free Crosstown t-shirt. And by the way, if you ordered these tickets before Friday, those shirts have already arrived at our studios, so we'll be bringing them with us. So the people that signed up before Friday for the Takeover, your shirts are going to be there at Almost Home. We'll be bringing them with us to the ballpark tomorrow. So you could take it home or you can wear it right to the game tomorrow. If you're buying a ticket tonight, then that Northside shirt that you see on the screen on the live YouTube feed, that you'll get it after the game at some point. Probably be a week or two, but you'll still get it. It'll still be free. And again, 20% off for diehards. 20% off for diehards. Sitting in section 425. That is right field, if I'm correct, just over the dugout. You know, some people say, like, I don't want to sit in the upper deck. I'm telling you, those are great seats.
Yeah.
You get
basically
a view of the
like
whole
right
field.
behind home plate, basically, right?
No, it's further down the line. It's like over the visiting dugout. It's like It's like halfway down the line. So the great part is the sunset is not going to be in your eyes, but you're going to see that beautiful glow
and
coming
the
through the
weather's
left.
Be perfect. Yeah.
It's going to be 80 tomorrow, so that means we're talking like 65 at the game, 70, 65.
Yeah. Oh. And I haven't necessarily announced this, but after the game, I'm probably going to go to Murphy's. So if people want to come hang out, have another beer after the game.
Yeah, because we're not doing pre and post tomorrow.
No pre or post.
This is just about the vibes. We're just going to hang out.
So I'm probably going to go to Murphy's after the game. Or if not Murphy's, because sometimes it gets way too packed after the game, I'll maybe go to Nisei Lounge. So
Nisei Lounge, all right. Do you have a DraftKings hit parlay for us tonight or something you're dialing up?
Justin in the chat, he asked, what's the bets for tonight? Well, Justin, let me tell you, brother. Let me tell you, I'm taking Jamer Candelaria over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs at plus 100 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So that means if Jamer were to get a hit and then score, whether it's later in the game or in when he gets on base, if he were to score later that inning, that wins you the bet. If he gets a hit and drives in a run with that hit, you win the bet. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Again, plus 100 on DraftKings Sportsbook. That's the lock of the night. The hit parlay is Mike Tauchman because it's the summer of Mike Tauchman. We're taking Cody Bellinger because he's just a man among little kids these days.
He's inevitable.
He's inevitable, yes. And because we dropped the shirt, you had to put Cody Bellinger in something today with us dropping the shirt. We're manifesting good vibes for Cody Bellinger. And so we're doing Tauchman, Bellinger, and Candelaria. So I'm high on Candelaria tonight. He mashes right-handed pitching. That's all he's done this year.
Candyman.
That's all he's done is mash right-handed pitching this year. So I think that comes out to a plus 180, but there's a profit boost on DraftKings Sportsbook you can use to get those odds a little bit better for your liking.
Austin. Cody thought he had to announce he was going to Murphy's after the game as if we didn't assume already.
Fair. I mean, that's a fair point. Like, yeah.
Boy, I hope Barb's okay.
Well said, Austin.
Barb might not know we're live tonight. I haven't seen Barb yet. I was kind of hoping Barb would show up to the ball game.
Yeah.
83 and feisty. Our favorite godmother of the CHGO Cubs
What
podcast.
I need is for the godmother and the godfather to meet at an event one day.
Yeah.
And then all of us can take a picture with the godmother and the godfather.
Collada said he's not going to be there because he can't walk very well.
Because he got the cortisone shots.
Yeah, he's got the cortisone
heel.
shots that are
I hope
not
the heel
working.
feels better, Godfather.
So, yeah, we hope you feel better. I wonder if we could get – this might be a little late to work on this, but I wonder if we could get, like, Collada to send us a photo so we get a cardboard cutout and just have, like, Collada signs so everybody was sitting with Collada. What's that game people do, like, where they go on, like, vacation and they take, like, just the cutout little stick figure and they're like, oh, here's so-and-so on vacation with me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
No idea what you're talking about.
No idea what.
No.
Some people go on vacation. They're like, "Oh, I took so and so with me," and it's just like a piece of paper that looks like almost like a stick figure. And they take him in photos. Sean wants to know if Jimmy Carter is live. As far as I know, still there. But we're all praying for him.
Folks are saying. Vanilla Chill says this community is great. Laughing emoji. You're right.
Colada wants the
Goddamn
Ricketts
right.
is cheap shirt. What if they sign Shohei Ohtani in the offseason?
Then it'd be.
Will Colada's entire slogan be shot down?
I think his slogan would be shot down if they paid Cody Bellinger even.
Bellinger, yeah. That's going to cost over $200.
There's going to be more money in the Ricketts family coming here, too, pretty soon. Laura Ricketts just bought stake in the Red Stars today.
Hey, you're reading the rundown.
I'm sorry. I cut you off. My bad. Hey, money's coming.
It wasn't that big of a topic anyways. Sarah, Laura Ricketts involved in buying the Red Stars. So they're spending money. There's money to be made. If they can spend it on a soccer team, let's spend it on Shohei.
Yeah.
Amen.
Whatever, man.
Hey, they spent it on Dansby. Looks like a great investment on that one. Hey, how about the news? I don't know if this is news. I can't tell if this is fake news, real news, partial news. Carter Hawkins was on the Score today, and they were asked about, what about calling up PCA? And he said he's, quote, certainly at this pace, he's in the conversation. We talked about it yesterday that he's not on the 40-man, so it's a little bit trickier than that, and you have to have him on the 40-man by the end of the month if you're going to do that. So then how fast would you be calling him up if you're doing that, and what's the corresponding move? I don't know, but I do know that vibes would be at an all-time high if you could start
the vibes
pinch
would be
hitting
awesome.
and pinch running.
Yeah.
Even just that.
Yeah.
Pinch running, add a little defense at the end of the game. Maybe Hap comes out and you put PCA in left.
Taking out your Gold Glove left fielder to put in a potential Gold Glove.
If he's as good as they say he is.
80 grade or whatever however they do that.
Maybe Say is the guy that comes out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that
Gary says they got two open spots on the 40-man.
It's not that I don't want them to call PCA up. It's more of just like, if they call him up, I want him to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to see him come up and basically only be in like the pinch hit situations or like, come in for defense with like, in the late innings or whatever. Maybe I'm thinking about it in the wrong way, but if it's kind of like how it is for all the other young guys that we've talked about all year, whether it was Mervis or, Morel. Like, we all said that when they came up, they have to play every day. They have to get everyday at bats, and I just don't see how they're going to do that with PCA. I mean, I know Ian Happ
unless you think he's had enough of a season already and shown you enough and made enough progress this season that just a couple more weeks of games at AAA isn't that big of a deal, and still just getting the work. You think there's just as much value in his development in being with the big league team in a pennant race, going for it, learning from guys, getting the feel of Wrigley Field so that when he does get called up next year, he's already been there and done that. And you think, hey, listen, we're going for the playoffs.
Yeah.
If this guy makes our team better, but it slows down his progress because he didn't have a couple more weeks at Iowa, then you do it.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'll give you that much. I
was a little surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he basically said that it's definitely a possibility. But again,
I agree.
We'll
Near saying AAA in September is meaningless.
I agree.
I think there would be more value to being on the big league team, even if he was just playing sporadically, which would probably be the case.
Fair.
But
listen,
we'll wait and see.
I will if it happens.
Gary says there's space.
I'd get up for it. If it happened, I'd get up for it. But ideally, I would like to see him actually get regular playing time if it were to happen. And it just, to me, unless you're sitting someone, unless you're sitting Hap, Saya, or Tauchman.
But he may have the at-bats they already wanted him to have this season. Like, I don't know what their number is. Like, they probably want to see this from a guy. Now, he may not have the AAA at-bats they want, but if he's just crushing it here at the beginning and you're seeing it, like Gary's saying, I agree with this. Like, I think if you're trying to go for it and you think, okay, this guy's got crazy speed, and at the very least we can use him as a pinch runner in a key situation. He's not a bad glove, so you don't feel bad about switching him out with somebody and putting him in there to go out. Like, okay, I just don't know that there is that much value in one more month of AAA. So, interesting comment. Doesn't mean he's called up, but it doesn't. And they've said
they got to get him on the 40-man before
Ryan
31st.
said the same thing. Like that, they did say that about Ben Brown earlier this year in the mix. Okay, well, a lot of guys are in the mix, but let's.
The Stroman thing.
I'd like to see him force the narrative.
If the Stroman thing is more serious than what I think, then they might be forced to be calling up
one of the spots
some
on the
pitchers
pitch,
instead of PCA.
Well, but there might be guys around.
But again, they have until the 31st of August to put PCA on the 40-man to then make that corresponding move. So, it's August 15th.
Becky wants us out of here. She says game starts in a few minutes. I understand that. So let's do who you got. Cody was telling us about how the Candyman's a great play, but he did not take him in who you got. Instead, Cody went with Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, because we have to continue to manifest wins.
Ryan jumped on the belly bomb tour early and often.
You put Morel twice, Kevin, but that's okay.
I was just about to say. My fault.
Whoa.
I can't read very well some days.
Dansby was taken.
Yeah.
Seiya was taken. I was the last one to get mine in. Nico was taken. I went, you know what? Morel likes the vibes of the Crosstown. I could see Morel being a little flip and a little of the toe tap thing as he rounds third base.
My guy Michael Bowling
toe drag.
He's betting on Morel tonight. I saw him tweet that this morning. He's taking Morel over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs as well.
Yeah, Morel do the little hockey toe drag around third base.
Going up against a righty, he's better against right-handed pitchers than lefties this year. So
Craig's taking Dansby. Robbie's taking Ortega.
I got Tauchman tonight.
You got Tauchman?
Riding Tauchman.
Palatine Pounder. Palatine Pounder. The vote's in.
Summer of Mike Tauchman. If you hear anyone screaming that, it will be Kevin tonight.
He's a winning player, man.
He is a winning player.
Don't forget Belly Bomb shirts, all CHGO.com. They are there right now. And don't forget those Takeover tickets. Please, we'd like to meet a few more of you out there. We've met some folks at the, on the south side. We met some folks at the opening day. And we would like to meet more of you in person. CHGO Crosstown Classic coverage presented by Hooters. Hooters is your spot to catch all the games this season. Step up to our plate for the world-famous wings, delicious seafood, stacked sandwiches, salads, great drink specials, and more at Hooters. It's always easy to pick a winner. 11 Chicagoland locations. Visit originalhooters.com for more information. And thank you for checking out the CHGO Cubs Pregame Show podcast. We'll see you back here for a full hour after the Cubs win. And until then and after then, fly the W.